Norwalk's economy has prevailed during the recent years of economic struggle. Unemployment in Norwalk is below the state average. Norwalk is at 5.4%, and Connecticut as a whole is at 6.8%, and the nation is at 6.9%. So we're doing very well in that area. You know, societies can be judged by the way they treat their youngest and their oldest residents, and while we are doing everything possible to improve the quality of education in Norwalk, we should never forget our seniors. Most seniors are on fixed incomes that barely keep up with inflation. So a senior tax relief proposal will go to the council soon, and we anticipate that it will be passed. It will increase the income range by $5,000 for the senior tax relief program so that more people will be eligible, and it raises the benefit by 10%. The impact on other taxpayers is minimal. And I really do want to thank the Common Council for their bipartisan effort in this project. And it's truly important. A person who works all their life to build their dream, to live in a house in Norwalk, send their children to our schools, and then, just when they can least afford it because they're living on a fixed income, we have to send them a notice increasing their property taxes. It just doesn't seem fair, and I've heard so many people saying, well, they want to stay in Norwalk, they want to stay in Norwalk, but if it keeps going like this, they just can't. So we want to keep our seniors here. They are the people that really made this community what it is. One of the recent programs that we embarked upon was to have a security analysis done for each school in the city of Norwalk. We've done an overall security plan, but then each school, which is different with a different floor plan, different teachers, different locations, had to have operational plans in the event of an emergency. How do we respond? If we're locking down, under what circumstances do we lock down? Who does the notifications? If we're going to secure in place, how does that go about it? Where do parents go to pick up their children? If we're going to evacuate, where's the staging area where the children can meet and we can make sure that we have all the children safely out of the schools? And this is a service that the police chief and the fire chief implemented quite some time ago. And I'm pleased to say that the resources that we put towards this have proven their worth their weight in gold, and now they're going to be doing different evaluations and different exercises, making sure that the plan just doesn't get put up on a shelf and sit there, because when people leave a facility, when new teachers come in and old teachers leave, it's important that everybody's familiar with the plan, so we want to make sure that everybody's up to speed on how that works in the event there is something that's happening, which we hope never does. You've all heard of ComStat. It comes from my law enforcement background, where individuals who were bureau chiefs and precinct chiefs were called in each month or each week to talk about their efforts in their particular area. Well, we're going to take that and we're going to call it CityStat. And we're going to work with our department heads to develop performance metrics. What do we expect of you, and how can we measure whether or not you're accomplishing those goals and objectives? And we're going to meet with them and say, okay, let's put these metrics for each individual department. Let's see what those metrics are. And then each time we meet, each month, they'll be asked to report out where they are in progress to those goals and objectives, and making sure that we're moving forward and serving the citizens of Norwalk with the services that they deserve. And I think it's time to really start doing that through a data-driven analysis of our performance measures. I will be proposing a thorough review and overhaul of our zoning regulations to ensure that they're encouraging development and not obstructing it. You may not know this, in one of the most important zones in the city of Norwalk, our transit-oriented district, our master plan now has 14 separate zoning requirements in that area. We need to get rid of inconsistencies and loopholes. In some, we need to streamline and modernize our zoning regulations so that we promote smart development. The overhaul needs to start with a clear vision of what we want Sono, Wall Street, Connecticut Avenue, Westport Avenue, and our residential neighborhoods to look like, so we can create a vision for the future. During several past administrations, the mayor had an assistant or a chief of staff to act as a liaison between the mayor and the department heads to ensure that important tasks are being followed up upon. We will be looking at the possibility and whether it's appropriate to restore that structure. We also, with support from the Chamber of Commerce, want to propose a 4-year term for the mayor and the Common Council so that programs can be implemented over the long term and with continuity. 2 terms. 2 terms are simply too short. Most cities and many towns smaller than Norwalk have a 4-year term for their chief elected official. Again, this ensures stability for developers and other investors to come to Norwalk, and they can be assured that when they meet with the chief elected official and the Common Council, that there's going to be stability for the next 4 years, and the deals or the things that they've discussed will continue to be in operation.
Where do you see the 95-7 project headed? And this is the emphasis. Do you believe this is the highest and best use of this prime property?
The highest and best use, and that's the rule of thumb in real estate, except for location, location, location. I don't think so. I don't think it's the highest and best use. I have concerns, and I've met with GGP. I know there's mixed emotions about whether we should have a mall in Norwalk, whether that becomes our identity. We want to make sure that anything that's put there is something that's going to serve us well, because it's going to be there for generations to come. And when I read in the Financial Times that 15% of America's malls will fail in the next 5 years, that concerns me. I don't think they'd be building a mall if they thought it was going to fail, but they've got a lot of hurdles to overcome. And I will give them a lot of credit. We've been meeting with them on a regular basis and working with them to try to make sure that that mall doesn't become just a one-stop shop where people get off I-95, go into the mall, do their shopping, grab a bite to eat, and leave.